Thank you for taking the time to review this presentation, which has been designed to provide Registration Board members with an overview of the Education Quality Assurance Programme approval and monitoring processes. We advise that you review these slides before reviewing documentation and board papers prepared by the Executive.
The role of CARU. As you are aware, the role of CARU is to protect the public by regulating the health and social care professionals listed in the Health and Social Care Professionals Act 2005. CARU is made up of the Health and Social Care Professionals Council and 14 registration boards, one for each profession named in the Act. There are many ways in which CARU protects the public, as listed in this slide. This presentation will focus on the requirements to ensure that the relevant educational bodies deliver qualifications that prepare professionals to provide safe and appropriate care. The first step in ensuring that the relevant educational bodies deliver programmes that prepare professionals to provide safe and appropriate care is for registration boards to develop and agree the criteria for education and training programmes and standards of proficiency for the profession. The standards of proficiency for the profession state what the graduate must know, and the criteria state how the programme must be designed and managed and delivered to ensure the programme consistently produces graduates who meet the standards of proficiency. There is a council-approved criteria and standards of proficiency framework document. Each registration board adopts this framework and updates it to reflect criteria and/or standards specific to their profession. All of the criteria and standards are available in the education section of the CARU website. You can also find further information on the approval and monitoring process in this part of the website. There are two elements to quality assurance of education and training programmes as set out in the Act: programme approval and programme monitoring. Both of these processes will have an impact on the approved qualification bylaw for that profession and will be explained further in the next slides. It is important to be aware that the programme approval and the monitoring processes are not connected in any way. The programme approval process allows a registration board to determine if it is satisfied that a programme is suitable for the education and training of candidates for registration in its register. Following programme approval, the board shall, not less than once in every 5 years, satisfy itself as to the continuing suitability of any education and training programme approved by the board. Next, I will outline the decisions for each process. Programme approval decisions. When an education provider is satisfied their education programme meets the criteria and standards set out by the relevant registration board, they may submit a programme approval application to the registration board. Registration boards carry out the programme approval process in a range of situations, which includes, but is not limited to, approvals of programmes for a profession which is being regulated by CARU for the first time, approval of a new programme and a new qualification title for a profession already being regulated by CARU, or approval of a new programme pathway to an existing qualification title. It is important to note that Section 48 of the Act allows a registration board two options. They may approve the programme or they may refuse to approve the programme. If the registration board refused to approve the programme, the education provider may make a request to the Minister for Health to direct the registration board to grant approval. After implementing the processes set out in the legislation, the Minister for Health may direct the board to grant approval, or they may confirm the registration board's decision. Entry to the register. When a programme is approved, the qualification awarded on completion of the programme can be listed on the approved qualifications bylaw for that profession. This bylaw lists the qualifications approved as attesting to the standards of proficiency required for registration under Section 38(2)A of the Act. Graduates with qualifications listed on the Approved Qualification Bylaw are eligible to apply for registration under Section 38 of the Act. Whereas other processes in CRU, for example, recognition, may allow individuals onto the register, by approving a programme and listing the qualification on the Approved Qualification Bylaw, the Board is, in effect, permitting eligibility of large numbers onto the register. Programme monitoring. Once a programme is approved, there is a requirement under Section 49 of the Act for a programme monitoring to be completed within 5 years. If following the programme's monitoring process, the Registration Board is of the opinion that the education and training programme continues to be suitable for the education and training of candidates for registration, it will make the decision to continue approval. If the Registration Board is of the opinion that an education and training programme it has approved may no longer be suitable for the education and training of candidates for registration, it shall give the institution an opportunity to make, within 30 days, representations to the Board as to why the approval should not be withdrawn. When the deadline for representations by the provider has passed, the Registration Board will make one of the following decisions after consulting with Council: to continue approval or withdraw approval. Following a Board's decision to withdraw approval, the provider may request the Minister for Health to direct the Registration Board to continue the approval. This request to the Minister must be made within 30 days after the institution has been informed of the Registration Board's decision to withdraw approval. If, after consulting the Minister for Education and Skills, the Minister is satisfied as to the suitability of the education and training programme, they may direct the Board to continue the approval, or they may confirm the Registration Board's decision. There are 3 pillars to the approval and monitoring process as outlined in this slide. Focus on the requirements published by the Registration Board. Rely on the evidence provided as part of the process. Implement the process as outlined by CRU. There are 2 groups involved in programme approval and monitoring processes: the Review Team and the Registration Board. The next slides will describe the role of the Review Team. The Registration Board approves a review team to review the submission and conduct a visit with the education provider. The team comprises of up to 6 members, usually 4, drawn from the following groups: academics, practitioners, members of the public. 1 member of the review team serves as a chair. Potential reviewers undergo a conflict of interest procedure specific to the education and training of reviewers. The role of the review team is to assist the Registration Board, who must make the statutory decision in the public interest. They do this by reviewing the evidence submitted by an education provider, evaluating the evidence against the Board's requirements, asking questions about the evidence submitted, and writing a rationale to explain their opinion of the evidence received. However, it is the role of the Registration Board to make the decision in relation to the programme approval or monitoring process. In summary, the Registration Board makes several key decisions in relation to programme approval and monitoring. They must decide if the programme can be approved under Section 48 of the Act, if the qualification awarded upon completion of the approved programme can be listed on the Approved Qualification Bylaw for that profession, and during programme monitoring, if the programme continues to be suitable to be approved under Section 49 of the Act. Many Registration Board members will be familiar with other quality assurance processes. It is important that you understand the difference between these processes and statutory approval and monitoring of education programmes. Programme approval may seem similar to other processes, but please take care. Your role is not to accredit an award or comment on the academic standards of a programme, make suggestions or recommendations in relation to the programme, suggest conditions attached to the approval of a programme. Programme monitoring may seem similar to other processes, but again, your role is not to compare a monitoring application to a programme approval application, or make assumptions that the programme meets the standards as it was previously approved. The programme monitoring process is reviewing the current programme against each of the criteria and standards. Please now watch the second PowerPoint presentation, which provides more details on the process of programmes approval and monitoring.